And Ty, you are live and recording, ready to go when you are.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. All right, we're good to go. I'm good. Oh, still, you can see that now. Just confirming.
Looks good.
Cool. All right, thank you everyone for joining me today. My name is Ty Davis. I am in technical marketing, part of the product marketing team. I'm just going to be reviewing our Agile Management click-through today. If you have any questions at any time, please let me know. This is ultimately going to be me kind of doing a demo through slides here. So something that we often see with all of our decks is our tool landscape and how GitLab is addressing all of these different stages as part of the end-to-end DevOps lifecycle. Something we'll be focusing on today is the plan area, which is going to have a focus around project management, Agile portfolio management, Kanban boards, and we'll go into a little bit of detail of how GitLab can achieve these needs for your organization or for organizations that are using GitLab, and go into detail how to go about that. Before I start here, the one thing I'll say with Agile, obviously a lot of us, I think, come from Agile past or have a lot of history with Agile tools. We often come in and see that organizations have different flavors of Agile. There's no one true and tested approach to Agile that everybody's using. Even when we see with the different frameworks like SAFe or Spotify, people are trying to implement these frameworks, or they have implemented these frameworks, and it's changed to how their organizations go about their everyday business. So it's not one exact true way to do Agile. There are a lot of core things that are necessary, and the same thing applies to how we set up inside of GitLab your approach to Agile. The case that I give here, at least for the organization of groups, subgroups, and projects, it's just one specific way that it can be done. There's different ways that you can have organization around groups and projects. There's also a video done by a previous product manager that talks about setting up for microservices or being more specific to products, and that's also a different approach that can be done. Excuse me. But for this particular case, this is a general way to approach it if you have an organization as a whole that's on one instance of GitLab. In this case, we have Healthcare Provider Incorporated. This is just a mock healthcare company. They are looking to, they are doing Agile, and there may be flavors of Scaled Agile Framework in here, or SAFe. So starting off, we have a healthcare provider. What they've done is they've broken down into 6 different value streams, or 6 different specialties that they've defined as maybe BUs or specific areas that make up their organization. So in order to see the subgroups that make up a hospital, we'll click through that, and then it's broken down into intake, patient records, staff scheduling, and billing. These are larger Agile teams that make up the hospital value stream, or the hospital focus for the healthcare provider. And these are going to be made up of several different projects. So the billing subgroup, makes up a larger Agile team. We'll have smaller, maybe Scrum or Kanban teams that are specific to the projects that reside within that subgroup. So we have patient billing, vendor billing, 501c3. These projects make up the billing subgroup as a whole. From here, we go over to epics. We're still at that group level, so we want to talk about portfolio epics and how these large ideas are being created at the subgroup or the group level. These large ideas are going to be broken down further into sub-epics, so they're going to be taken from sub-epics down to issues, so they're broken into pieces that need to be created and built into functionality. We look at the hierarchy of GitLab as with common terminology in the Agile world. You have epics, features, maybe user stories. So the way GitLab does it is we have epics, sub-epics, and issues. It can be seen as that three-tier hierarchy there that's often seen with other Agile tools, or just terminology in general. If we want to organize our epics, we can do that here. Let's say we are doing safety. We want to organize these epics by strategic themes. These are themes that we've decided we are the portfolio, maybe our leadership team has decided are very, very important for our organization. So for healthcare, it's these 5 different things that are important, these 5 different strategic themes that are important for the organization as a whole. And then we are going to take those and we're going to start breaking those larger ideas down into features or you sub. So we move on to the next screen. You can see I've filtered by feature, which is a label that we've created. It's something that we want to identify as a next level down from those high level epics that were created at the portfolio level. If I want to look at a specific epic and see what kind of traceability I have with that epic, what is rolling up to the epic, I can see there's several different issues that I've connected to this epic. So as we are going down again from that high level portfolio epics, breaking it down into a feature, these are now the issues that make up that feature, the issues that are going to be built and worked on that are going to complete that feature that is going to come out in a future release. You can also tie epics or sub-epics to epics as well. In this particular case, because it's a sub-epic, I don't have any epics tied to it, but if I go to the strategic themes that we created, I could see this specific epic tied to those high-level epics. We head back to the organization page. This is where we're now going to go dive into a specific one sec. That was weird. All right. As we went back to the our organization's main page that shows our groups and subgroups, we're going to dive into specifically, and I don't know why this keeps happening. It's kicking me out. All right. So we're going into a specific project that's part of the billing subgroup. This patient billing, this is a smaller, maybe Scrum or Kanban team. And this is where we're going to do our organization of the issues. We're going to do our sprint planning, our product planning. Go over to issues. We'll have a running list here first of all the issues. We can do any kind of filtering that we need. We can also do mass edit updates inside of just this running list if we want to maybe select a handful of issues that we want to connect to a specific sprint or add specific labels around that. We can do that in this list view. But our team, our organization, we like to organize our sprint backlog and our product backlog via boards. So I head over to boards where I'm going to be able to see that there's a couple boards that are being created here. But first, before we go into boards, we want to define how we're doing our sprint planning. So I want to do my sprint planning. I'm going to take from that open lane there. That's going to be my product backlog, and I want to assign it to whether it's sprint 1, 2, 3, or 4. But first, how do I define those sprints? And we do that at GitLab inside of milestones. So milestones can be looked at as an area where you can create a specific time box. You have the ability to customize how you want these time boxes labeled, and in our particular case, we're just doing sprint 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Maybe if we were doing safe, we could label these PI, PI1, PI2, PI3, and then we can organize our backlog with that terminology. One thing we'll show real quick is that once you do assign those issues to specific sprints, you have visibility into a burn down chart, whether it's issues, just the specific issues themselves, and seeing where you're at as it burns down from their progress. Or you can look at issue weight that's been assigned to all those issues, and then we can take that burn down chart, and we can plan, do future capacity planning for future sprints and understand what we were able to accomplish and what we were able to not accomplish, and understand better our team's capacity as we plan for future sprints. So setting that precedent of, this is how we've defined our sprints inside of milestones. Now we can come back to the board view here, where we've created the sprint planning board, and this is frozen on me. And the sprint planning board, as we kind of saw earlier, this is where we're going to take stuff off of our backlog. We're going to assign those issues to sprint 3. This is what, maybe we have some labels in there that are risk labels, and we want to go about, coordinating the higher risk issues to sprint 3 and work on those first. However, an Agile team self-organizes, they can do that, or if they have a product owner that's kind of leading the way in terms of assigning issues to sprints, and then having the teams pull from there. And that's what we'll go into see the current sprint. And I actually need to probably fix a couple things here where this drop-down menu is not showing on the click-through. But the current sprint is going to be showing that sprint 3 that we are assigning the issues to. So if I am up in edit board, I can have this board filtered by anything that's assigned to the sprint 3 milestone, and that'll populate on the left side here in the open swim lane. That's where, as a team, as developers, we'll come in and we'll see what issues are assigned to that sprint, and then we can self-organize and start choosing the issues that we want to work on. I will click on that, and then I can assign that to myself, and then I'll move that to in progress. Here you can see that we have scope labels in place. So once I move it from in progress to review, it'll replace that in progress label with review, and take ownership there so that we have visibility into where we're at in the process of this current sprint. If we have maybe a Scrum Master, or again, the product owner that wants visibility into the progress of the team, we can organize our board views with individuals. So if I want to see what Dan or Ty's doing, see if they have limited, or the amount of work in progress that we've decided on as a team. Maybe they need some help. There's a bottleneck of some sort. Scrum Master comes in, wants to help them with that, or they need to bring another individual from the team to help with a issue that's not being finished in the time that we've determined. You can do that directly from any board, but in this particular case, we just have a team board that allows us to get visibility into the ongoing sprint and who's working on what. As we dive into issues, we can see that there's information that can be added, or once you create this issue, you have the ability to give it a description. You can assign it to an epic. You can assign it to a milestone, give time tracking around that. That's a little bit different than weight. You have both time tracking and weight. Weight is going to be more around like story points. A lot of people use the Fibonacci scale, and this is not specific to hours. It's something that is done again in story points, and there's a scale, like the Fibonacci scale, that decides what the extent of that issue is, and how much time will be put into that. Time tracking is more specific to hours. That can also be used as well inside an issue. Due date labels are given, confident, not confident. One big thing, one of the biggest differentiators for GitLab is that you can create and tie directly a merge request to that issue. And so with a lot of customers, a lot of people out there, there's Jira is very prevalent. This is something that they're integrating Jira with into GitLab, is to get that merge request, or to get that information around code changes directly tied to Jira. This is where we can come in and we can say, this is a big piece of having that traceability from end to end. You don't need to integrate different tools. You have that merge request that's directly tied to the issue. So you have that traceability there, and you can have visibility into the progress of the issue with a merge request. That's where we create a merge request, and then now you could see this merge request is now directly tied to issue number 7 in the top left, right under work in progress. It closes issue number 7. So as a developer, this merge request is opened. I can make changes to my code, whether I use GitLab's web IDE, or chances are that I use my own personal IDE or terminal, and I check out that branch, I make the changes, or I make the addition, or make whatever needs to be done with that branch, and then I commit and push that back to master. Let's say all things work out. I guess there you go. Make a change, commit, stage, and push your code, the changes that are made. That's going to kick off our pipelines that we have built inside of GitLab. So if you have your CI/CD set up using GitLab along with your version control, it's going to give you that visibility into that merge request and all the different parts of that MR, so code quality, performance, or however you have your build and stages set up in your pipeline. That's in this particular case, unless the customer asks, not going deep into the CI/CD part because we're focused on the Agile project management piece. So we're just talking about, okay, I have that merge request that's now tied to my issue. Let's say the pipeline passed, it's successful. I can go ahead, I merge that to master, and then by merging this MR to master and making that fix that was assigned to me on the issue board, this is something that I was told that I need to work on. Now that's complete, that's done. This MR is pushed to master, and then it's going to close that issue that was assigned to me, or that I took off of our sprint board and began to work on. And so then now, excuse me, after this, I can if issues open in that sprint, which is probably more likely, I'll grab another issue and I'll get working on that. And then I can, rinse and repeat just as I did with that issue, creating an MR, working on it, making sure that pipeline passes and then pushing that, and then it'll close that issue as well. So that is the, I don't know what right, 1920. I guess the big thing I'll say with project management is you have, we're starting that planning piece, the Agile part. So I'm taking a product backlog, I'm creating issues inside of GitLab. You do have that portfolio aspect, which you have roadmaps and epics, and that's something that, on the roadmap for GitLab in itself, there's a lot of portfolio specific stuff that we need to add to the tool around budget and all that sorts. But you have the planning portion. You can do your sprint planning, your product planning. You can have visibility into the team statuses, what they're doing. And then you can also have visibility, via labels with technical risk boards and additional boards, whatever that organization, maybe want to have specific needs that they're trying to do. When that issue is created, like I just said, create an MR, that MR is worked on, and then that MR can close the issue, and then it has that direct connection to that project management piece. Let me look at, I can actually see the chat, 1 second. Okay. Yeah, Matt posted in the group chat. I put together I really tried for 3 minutes, but a 4-minute video, high-level overview of Agile project management. It's not published on YouTube yet because I was just getting feedback from anyone that wanted to add feedback around it. If anything needed to be added or removed, it's really hard to shove everything in 3 minutes. So I think it's about 4 minutes. Any questions around on this click-through deck? No? Makes sense?
Hey, Ty, it's Paul.
Hey.
Thanks for sharing this. Quick question. I met with a large customer, a couple weeks back, and they like kind of this portion from an Agile standpoint, but they're still a little bit old school, and they're looking for more of the budgeting aspect and how do they look at overall projects, assign resources and stuff like that, and budgets. Is that something that's coming 6 months, 12 months, or are we even looking at that at this point?
We're looking at it. I got to go back and look at the roadmap and see what this specific time frame is. I don't think it's near term. I know, additionally, they're looking to hire a PM right now that directly works with Plan, as the previous one left, so they're filling that position. But that doesn't mean that Eric isn't taking this up and heading it up. So we are. I'll get an answer back on the portfolio specific budget area if we're looking to address that in future or long-term releases.
Yeah, thanks, Ty.
Are they, just because, just for knowledge, do they have a current PPM tool that they're using, or are they just doing it like Excel?
Yeah, well, they're using a bunch of different tools. They're a big SAP shop, so they're using some tool they get from SAP.
Okay.
Free, but
Yeah.
they're using Excel, Google Sheets, and a bunch of other different tools. They're looking to standardize, and they like kind of what we showed here, but they said we can't replace what GitLab just can't replace everything we're looking to do.
Right. And so what are they doing now with, if they have a PPM tool, then and they want to do Agile project management, that means they have to, unless they have a tool that does it all, which there's only a few of those.
Yeah, they don't have a tool that does it all. That's one of the big initiatives from the C-level folks to say, hey guys, listen, we need to do this better. We need to go. We're trying to push to Agile. That there's small pockets where they're pushing to Agile, but there's nothing right now where they're like across the board using some type of tool.
Okay, so they're new to Agile then? They're just a traditional waterfall shop? Okay.
Correct. Yep.
Okay. Well, the piece with that is, yes, we need to fill some gaps on the budget area and the portfolio aspect, but they're going to have to look for an Agile tool as well if they're going to be doing PPM tool tied in Agile tool, then that Agile tool is going to have to tie to their SEM, and then see, are they using us right now?
No, they're not.
Okay.
One of the guys that brought us in used to use us at a different company.
Okay.
Fan on the architecture team, but the governance and portfolio team, we just did a presentation about 2 weeks ago.
Okay. I will. This is Paul, right?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Let me get back to you on the timeline around that. Does that work?
Yep. Thanks.
Cool. Any other questions? Any other, for me to learn what you're talking to your customers, use cases right now in terms of people that are looking for an Agile tool on top of SCM, CI/CD, any unique scenarios or what they've said about our tool with Agile specific. Any pushback from customers saying that doesn't do what they want yet? Or that Jira does so much more?
The only thing I would say is that, we keep getting the, we use Jira. How do you compare against Jira? So just from a marketing standpoint, a name recognition standpoint, I think some of the Gartner stuff's going to help significantly.
Okay.
I had a customer ask me about reporting, custom project management reporting. And my answer, right or wrong, was we're not quite there yet. We're not there in the sense that Jira, equivalent to Jira, but where are we at on that, or what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think you're right in saying that we're not quite there yet, but there is they're building. If we look at something called Insights that's now being built out, they're looking we at GitLab are looking to build more reporting inside of the Insights functionality inside of GitLab. Something that always be useful is when they say, like Jira, Jira does reporting. I'd be curious to know, okay, what kind of reporting are you looking for? Because, my past experience, I worked on different Agile tools before, is that can mean a lot of different things. What kind of reports are they trying to get? Like reports on just the velocity of teams? Are they trying to get reports on specific budget to projects? Or what kind of reporting are they getting from these tools? And then we can better adjust like how we can solve that as well. Because a lot of times these tools offer a ton of different reports, but there's only a significant few that are like the most used reports. It's just kind of like a remote control, right? There's all these buttons, but most of the people just use volume and change the channel and guide.
Is that common across most customers, or is it unique to each customer?
And in terms of reporting?
Yeah, those handful of like common reports.
It's going to be common amongst most customers. Like you're going to have your burn down charts, you're going to have your team capacity charts, and that's, these, what else? If it's, quality testing tool, it's going to be the amount of defects that come in and that are being solved. Something that we have is that, we're tying directly the amount of issues, which is the issue part, aka user stories, is going to be something common, but we also have merge requests that we can show reporting around the MRs that are associated with the issues and that are being closed at a significant time. You can also have visibility into specific people and what they're doing. And that's something we do need to get a little more extensive around is the capacity of an individual and how that affects a team. That a lot of tools are very mature and they're measuring of team capacity.
Could we get something like just a quick, hey, here's the top 5 reports most people use, and we have those functionality, right?
Yeah.
So if we're talking to a customer and they say, do you have good reporting? Instead of saying no, we could say, we've got, 90% of what you use. Here's what we have.
Yeah, we can do that. And so that's something I'm going to do is terms of trying to do a comparison of Jira along with Clint, because that's Clint on the product marketing team is competitors. But since my subject or SE is towards Agile project management, I'm going to do a one-on-one against Jira and kind of where the gaps are that we don't fill. More than likely, it's going to be where the gaps are that we don't fill, and are that we be a lot better. And then that's just, again, it's that traceability of MR to issue and having everything in one spot. But I will put that together and add reports into it as well, like what kind of reporting we do and what kind of reporting they do, and what is the top most used by Jira users.
That'd be awesome. And I thought of one more thing. I saw something on Slack this morning around our documentation claiming certain capabilities around Jira integration, but then maybe not able to find all those features in the actual product. I don't know if you saw that or if you have any opinion on that.
I didn't. Can you actually tag me in that?
If I can find it again.
What channel is it in? Do you know?
I'll look. Probably questions.
Questions. Okay. And I mean, what's the question is around what are we stating? That we can integrate with Jira and then it's not actually working, or there's.
Yeah, something to that effect. It was. I'll tag you in it. It was basically, hey, the premium Jira integration claims to have some things, and then I tried to find it and couldn't find it. We couldn't find it in the code, etc. I just found that.
Okay, tag me in it, and then I'll see. I'll read on it and see if I can respond to it. And I mean, in addition, I know Matt we'll end it here in a minute, but Matt mentioned earlier like a 4-minute video. My goal is to break down all this project management into little pieces, and one of those pieces is going to be the Jira integration as well, because it's just something that is common, and then having that piece to at least pass on to customers and see how it works.
Yeah, by the way, those videos are awesome. Seriously, really like the short consumable.
Cool. Glad they're useful. Makes me keep my job. But I appreciate everyone, and we're at the time. So any other questions, reach out to me directly. If you want me to be on a call with any customers around Agile, listen in or talk along, with your SA's permission, please reach out to me. Appreciate it.
Hey, Todd, this was terrific. We'll get this video uploaded to YouTube. In the description of the video, we will add links to the deck that Ty showed, in addition to the 4-minute video once we get that up on YouTube as well. Thanks, everyone.